Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Super Sports Central. Today, we're going to be going over how I would approach the offseason if I was general manager of the Chicago Bears. So, this is going to be a series where I go over the offseason for every NFL team and how I would approach the offseason if I was their team's general manager. And the Bears, they're up first. So, the Bears, they have a really interesting offseason ahead of them, and they have a lot of questions, especially at the quarterback position and with the number one overall pick. But getting into the Bears offseason by taking a look at their upcoming free agents, they already released safety Eddie Jackson. But other free agents upcoming, they have cornerback Jalen Johnson, defensive lineman Yannick Ngagwe, wide receiver Darnell Mooney, defensive lineman Justin Jones, running back Deonta Foreman, offensive lineman Lucas Patrick, tight end Robert Tonyan, and wide receiver Equinemius St. Brown. Now, of those players, which would I extend franchise tag or re-sign? There is definitely some players who the Bears should be looking to bring back. The first is cornerback Jalen Johnson. He was great this past season with 4 interceptions, 10 passes defended, and held opposing quarterbacks to just a 55% completion percentage when targeted, and has been one of the most underrated corners in the NFL. So bringing back Jalen Johnson is a must for the Bears, and extending him is going to cost about $18 million, which is also what the franchise tag would cost. So I could definitely see the Bears doing something like franchise tagging him and then extending him. But bringing back Jalen Johnson is a must. Pass catchers Darnell Mooney, Equinemius St. Brown, and Robert Tonyan are all free agents. The Bears could bring back a combination of those guys, none of them, or all of them. If I'm the Bears, I think I'm going to let all of them walk. None of them was really that productive this season, as Darnell Mooney was the most productive with a little over 400 receiving yards, so I would look elsewhere at the wide receiver position. Offensive lineman Lucas Patrick is a player the Bears could opt to re-sign, but he's 30 years old, battled injuries this past season, and I would look for an upgrade at the center position. And finally, defensive lineman Yannick Ngagwe and Justin Jones, I would both let walk. Looking at positional needs for the Bears this offseason, the first being another wide receiver. DJ Moore is obviously coming off a great season with 1,300 receiving yards. After letting Darnell Mooney walk, the Bears will be looking for a wide receiver too. Offensive line is another need for the Bears. The offensive line was improved this past season, but there's still room for improvement, and there will be in need of a center after not re-signing Lucas Patrick. Edge rusher is another need for the Bears to pair with Montez Sweat, who they signed to an extension after trading for him at the trade deadline. And the final need isn't the biggest need, but it would be nice for the Bears, and that is running back, because they need a little bit more dynamic running back. This past season, they didn't have a single running back rush for more than 611 yards. So getting into free agency, the Bears, they have a lot of money to spend this offseason. Even after extending Jalen Johnson for $18 million per year, they still have about $48 million in cap space and are looking to make a splash in free agency. Some potential targets for the Bears. The first would be along the offensive line, and that would be Connor Williams, the center from the Dolphins. Connor Williams is coming off a torn ACL, so that definitely impacts his value. But signing Connor Williams would be a big upgrade for the Bears at the center position. He won't be ready at the start of the season because of his torn ACL, but he is definitely someone I would look to sign if I'm the Bears, and he's going to cost somewhere between $9 and $12 million annually. And the other major thing I would do in free agency is bring in an edge rusher to pair with Montez Sweat. And there is quite a few quality edge rushers this free agency cycle. 5 really good ones, those being Brian Burns, Danielle Hunter, Bryce Huff, Chase Young, and Josh Allen. So obviously the top option for the Bears would be Brian Burns, but he's likely to get franchise tagged by the Panthers. So they'll be looking elsewhere, such as players like Josh Allen or Danielle Hunter. Both will be pretty expensive at least $20 million per year. Now, they could opt to go with either Hunter or Allen, but the Bears could also look to sign someone who's a bit more underrated, like Bryce Huff, who's going to be a little bit cheaper. But I would definitely look to bring in an edge rusher from the Bears. And finally, moving on to the draft. So this is where things get really interesting. Because the Bears, they're in a weird spot when it comes to the draft. They have picks number 1 overall and 9 overall. So the first thing the Bears need to do is make a decision on the first overall pick. Because there's really 3 ways they can go with this. They can trade Justin Fields and draft Caleb Williams at number 1 overall. They can keep Justin Fields and trade the pick. Or they can trade the number 1 overall pick, trade Justin Fields, and draft a quarterback that's not Caleb Williams, which makes things very interesting. Now, what would I do if I'm the Bears? Justin Fields is coming off a decent season where he threw for 2,562 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 9 picks, and also added 657 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground. Now, Justin Fields hasn't been a great passer so far in his career with the Bears, although he has been a very dynamic rusher. But what I would do, I think you can still get a pretty good trade package in return for Justin Fields, and I would go trade him. And I think you could get a good return package, meaning a high day 2 pick or maybe even a late first round pick. But I think you're most likely looking at a second round pick and maybe a day 3 pick. But the trade I would do if I'm the Bears, I would send Justin Fields to the Patriots for the 34th overall pick and pick 182. But I could also see them potentially packaging Fields and the ninth pick for the third pick to draft maybe a receiver or something like that. But what I would do from the Bears, I would go send Fields to the Patriots for a second rounder and a day 3 pick. Now, as far as the draft goes, after the decision of trading Justin Fields, the decision is made for us. Take Caleb Williams at number 1 overall. He has ridiculous potential. He's an insane athlete, and he's going to be the number 1 pick. And he also resets the financial clock at the quarterback position for the Bears. Now, at number 9 overall is where it gets interesting. Because the Bears, they could be looking to add a wide receiver, but if they don't sign an edge rusher in free agency, then edge can definitely be in play here as well. But I'm going to say the Bears are going to go take either Romo Nunze or Malik Neighbors, whoever is available here. And I'm going to say that's Malik Neighbors at number 9. Moving on to day 2 of the NFL draft, where the Bears will be picking at 34 after the trade from the Patriots. And I have them taking Christian Haynes, who's an interior offensive lineman from UConn. And finally, at pick 75, I have the Bears going with Miami safety Cam Kitchens, who will help replace Eddie Jackson on the back end of the defense. And I also said running back is need, but they'll look for running back on day 3. But that is how I would approach the offseason as general manager of the Chicago Bears. I'm not a Bears fan, so Bears fans, let me know how I did in the comments. If I did a realistic job. If not, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, turn notifications so you don't miss any other videos or any other upcoming offseason preview and how I would approach the offseason. I do my best to put as often as possible, and I will see you in the next video.